Hello and welcome to a third episode of the slightly new, more touched-up version of A Week in Film. I'm sure you noticed that this video is a lot shorter, and you might notice that I sound significantly less interested than I normally do, but that's because I already had this audio recorded and it did not save to my computer, so I am re-recording this audio just so I can get something out to you guys. Forgive me if I sound really bored or just fed up with it, but I'm not exactly thrilled that I lost an episode. I hope you enjoyed the last episode with my lovely girlfriend's editing. They put a lot of work into it, and if you haven't watched it yet, I would appreciate if you watched it. If not for the movies that I talk about, for the blood-stretching, time-destroying effort they put into the video, because it really would mean the world to both of us. But with all that out of the way, I'm going to talk about my only 3 movies watched this week. This is being recorded on Saturday the 3rd instead of Friday like I normally do. But on Friday the 2nd, I watched Deadpool. You'll notice a theme here very quickly. Deadpool is one of those movies that I remember liking when I watched when I was 9 or about that age. The whole idea of it, at least in my head at the time, was, OMG, so funny, the superhero screaming and swearing. This is going to be the funniest movie of all time. And they say a lot of inappropriate, very crass things. And I went back into this movie kind of expecting at least something good, but what I got from this movie was, in the best way, absolutely nothing. Deadpool is the kind of movie you have on at a Christmas party that no one's really paying attention to, and it's muted. You know, no one cares about what's happening in the movie, but if you look over, you can see a poorly shot action scene, or guess that Ryan Reynolds is saying an annoying joke, and be like, huh, this movie's good. The movie has nothing to it. There's no integrity to Deadpool. It's one of the best examples of the soulless comic book movie that oh so many snobby film critics talk about, because there's no drive, there's no passion in Deadpool. It feels so artificial. You know, it feels so safely edgy. You know, they're making little jokes and jabbing at Fox and at Disney, but at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't matter because someone from those studios had to watch and read the entire script and go, yeah, this is okay. And like, yeah, you need to cut this joke. You know, it feels like when your baby cousin comes up to tell you a little joke, and you know the joke that normally has swear words in it, but they can't say the swear words, so they give you a not nearly as funny, watered down version when it wasn't even funny at all to begin with. There is just nothing to this original film. To Deadpool. The comic book character isn't even particularly interesting, and where this film really fumbles is its main kind of hard points it's trying to hit. This film is really reliant on its comedy and action, and it manages to do neither well, even in the slightest. It's shot incredibly poorly, with a lot of the CG looking horrible, like straight up like a video game at times. And the comedy is at best annoying, and at worst just awful, just unfunny and meaningless and spineless, and just like nothing. You gain nothing from it. It's not even like eating a cookie, where at least for a second you feel kind of good and it tastes good, but it doesn't leave you with any real nutritional value. No, this is like eating. This is like drinking a cup of air. There's nothing to Deadpool. There's nothing to enjoy in this movie. And the fact that of all the times I have to re-record, it is for a dog shit franchise like Deadpool, should be punishable by execution for Ryan Reynolds. I have nothing else to say about this movie. Everything is either generic or just garbage. My review from the book will tell you a bit more about my in-depth thoughts. I oddly remember enjoying this movie when I first watched it. Something about Reynolds' performance probably made the Sybil monkey in my brain clap. On rewatch, there was almost nothing to properly enjoy. For a film about risky comedy and over-the-top violence, both fields are under-delivered upon heavily. The comedy, for the most part, is just Ryan Reynolds swearing, with the comedy only ever being funny when Ryan Reynolds isn't involved. The action looks muddy and low quality, also feeling stakeless and weightless. The film has maybe a moment or two that shine, and maybe one character that's actually fun, but outside of that, it just bores me. I also hate the reliance on flashbacks. I get it's a backstory, but it's almost 60% of the movie. I was snoozing. 3 out of 10, and honestly right now, I think all 3 of these movies are 1 out of 10s. So these reviews are a lot more fair and accurate to what I think, but I'm just fucking pissed right now, guys. I even if you've never recorded audio, I'm sure you've had to redo something that you already didn't really want to do, or redo something that you know you did really well the first time, and as you're redoing it, you know it'll never live up to the same level or quality that the original did. That's exactly how this feels right now, guys. I feel like I'm undergoing Chinese water torture, having to talk about 3 of Ryan Reynolds' shit hell spawn babies again. This is the worst thing I've ever done. Anyway, on the same day, only hours later, I watched Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 was directed by David Litch, I think his name is pronounced. Not David Lynch or David Fincher, bazinga, but David Litch. He directed Bullet Train and a couple other movies too that I don't really care for. Bullet Train was fine. It was okay. I guess it was good. I gave it a 6. It was good. But Deadpool 2 is easily the worst in the series. Whereas Deadpool 1 at least has some funny moments and doesn't take itself too seriously and is fast-paced and in your face all the time, Deadpool 2 moves at a snail's pace and tries to make you care about characters that, even if they had the most tragic backstory in the world and you gave them 4 novels, 3 movies, another 2 novels, and 3 video games to develop, you would never care about. Deadpool is not a character I can emotionally attach myself to, even if his wife dies. Spoilers! There's nothing to this movie, guys. Deadpool 2 is the most horrible waste of time, waste of energy, waste of everything you could ever dedicate yourself to. And I think this movie is so undeniably awful, it is void of a star. It doesn't get a half star, it doesn't get a full star, it gets -3 stars, guys. This movie is insufferable. There's not a single redeeming factor about this movie. Nothing works, nothing's done well, nothing's done with any swagger or purpose or style. It is just the most insufferable piece of garbage, shit, slop, pop culture filmmaking you could ever imagine. To read my review for Deadpool 2, I wrote, the main problem with this movie is it's not the annoying jokes. The main problem with this movie is not the annoying jokes like the original. Instead of Ryan Reynolds wanting to make an albeit bad R-rated superhero movie comedy, he wanted to make a somehow even worse, emotional, dramatic, funny, R-rated superhero movie, and as expected, it was horrible. The absolute lack of intelligence or purposeful writing at display here is bewildering. For some reason, it feels so much more sluggish and slow-paced than the original, making it even harder to not mentally pick apart the baffling writing and the story decisions made. It feels almost like the exact thing the first film was trying to mock, and instead of trying to be self-referential, it's just boring. 2 out of 10, but you heard my rating a second ago. And now on to the best, which is still garbage, of the Deadpool trilogy. On Friday night, I watched in IMAX Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, yeah, that's its title. Deadpool and Wolverine is only good because Hugh Jackman is in it. Everything else in this movie is the most Redditor, clicking your Funko Pops together and using your and opening comic books and going, I recognize that imagery from comic number 256, Wolverine versus Juggernaut. There's nothing to this movie. If you're a little fucking dork, they even make a joke about it in the movie that wasn't funny. I did not laugh. He goes, be ready to pull out your Marvel cum sock, guys. You're gonna come at this scene. It's gonna be so fan servicey, I'm gonna come. Guys, it's horrible. It's horrible. Everything in this movie is made for the lowest common denominator to go, haha, that was funny, and go, oh, I recognize that from the comics. There's nothing here, guys. Okay, I know I sound like a film snob, and I know I sound very angry because I am, but when you've seen films as good as Singin' in the Rain, as Taxi Driver, as as All About Lily Choo Choo, as Beatrice, when you've seen movies that artistic and that passionate and that just well made and composed, and you stop to watch a movie like this, it feels like an insult not only to art but to life. The human spirit is totally lacking in this movie, along with the other two. Don't get it twisted. There's no human spirit in any of these. It just feels so soul-crushing. The fact that some poor CG artist didn't see his wife for a week because he was working in Marvel Montreal to animate this shit show of a movie that doesn't even look good, does nothing with its runtime, and wastes the viewer's time. If you are not a Funko Pop clapper, you don't care about this movie. Again, the only saving grace is Hugh Jackman. And for all intents and purposes, this is Across the Spider-Verse when your fat brother walks in. This is on that level, guys. There's nothing good about this movie. None of the little characters they bring in. Oh, look, it's a Blade cameo. Blade. It's just nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing to appreciate about this movie. Absolutely nothing. If you like watching and going, I remember that from Loki, or oh, I remember that from the original X-Men in 2006, then sure, you'll get something out of this movie. You'll like this movie if you remember hearing blank is being casted as whatever in this movie. Then you'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool. There's nothing, guys. Seriously, if you have the $15 or whatever it costs to buy an IMAX ticket to see this movie, don't spend it. Go watch Trap. Go. If your theater's still showing it, go watch American Horizon and American Saga. Go watch. Go pay for Furiosa on Amazon Prime. Go watch Bad Boys Ride or Die. Go watch Inside Out 2. Watch Twisters. Just watch something that isn't this movie, because there's so much more to art than understanding a reference, guys. Film is so important, and the art form is dying out with these schlop after schlop dog shit movies constantly being released. And if I could pray for one thing, it would be the execution of Kevin Feige by guillotine, guys. It's horrible. It feels like we're back in the fucking French Revolution, but there's no revolution. With all that being said, here's the book review. I wrote, for what it's worth, it's the best one. Not because it improved on any flaws or impressed me, but because it was so scatterbrained and all over the place, it was gobsmacking. The even less extreme focus on Reynolds also helped, especially when Hugh Jackman is such a likable lead and plays such a different character. In a sense, it just feels like an assault on the senses, constantly referencing back to universes and the Avengers and certain actors. And honestly, I think a film like this is the most equatable to a series of oral shots received before a dental operation. It's hard to get through, and you dread doing it, but at least you don't feel anything after. That's not true. I'm full of hate right now. Action's poorly shot and too choppy. Score is Reddit. Writing is Reddit. Everything is unilaterally goy schlop. There's nothing to any of these movies, guys. And I understand I've been harsh, and I'm sure a lot of you really like these movies. And if you do, more power to you. Because I cannot bring myself to enjoy something that is this low quality. When you watch too many movies like this, you get conditioned to poor writing and to bad special effects and to overall lazy filmmaking, if you can even call it that at this point. If the last 5 movies you've watched in theaters have been Marvel or in some way superhero, and the last 3 shows you've watched have been Loki, Secret Wars, and What If, then do yourself a favor. Go watch or rewatch Better Call Saul and wait for Alien Romulus to come out in IMAX, and you will realize how blessed we are as a species to be able to express art in cinema, because no other creature on the planet can do this. And when we're so gifted and we waste it for the sake of money. Guys, please, if you enjoyed it, good. More power to you. But you do not have to take this anymore. This is not an abusive relationship. Kevin Feige does not own you. March to the Marvel Studios right now, stand outside the door, and yell, We will not take it anymore. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the angrier podcast than normal. I don't really think I'll ever have to do one of these again because generally I watch things I want to. But if I do, it'll get uploaded. I'm only doing this because I have to upload. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you don't watch any of these movies. And if you have, I'm sorry you can never get those six odd hours back from your life. I know I can't. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please subscribe. Please help me get something out of this brain-numbingly awful, excruciating experience. And I will see you in the theaters.